Sarah, good morning. I'm hoping you're having a great Inspire and Connect East Africa conference so far.
Good morning, I am. I just came from the stage, which has been very inspiring to see a lot of entrepreneurs and hear their stories. So very excited this morning to be here.
Good. Well, welcome. And you have an inspiring story as well. So tell us about Victory Farm. I was just telling you before, aquaculture is not a term I've heard before. So tell us what Victory Farm does and a little bit about how you started.
Oh, great. So Victory Farms is a vertically integrated fish farm that is operating in Homo Bay in the shores of Lake Victoria on the Roe side. And Victory Farms was started in 2015 by two great founders who had worked in Ghana previously. And when they toured Kenya, they realized that the quality of the water and the lake is very suitable for fish farming. Now, a lot of people don't know where their fish comes from. A bit of a history lesson here. In Kenya, unfortunately, the wild catch has been declining at a very fast rate. And so there was a need for providing fish for, first of all, the fishermen folk who are around Lake Victoria and rely on that as their medium of earning for their family, and also for the general Kenyan population. So Victory Farms has stepped in there, and we're doing fish farming and supplying Kenya. We have about 90 locations in 3 regions, Mombasa being the youngest that we started last year. But next time you're eating fish, tilapia to be precise, that might be Victory Farms fish.
So you employ local fishermen as part of your, so you're not getting them out of a job, basically. You're giving them more employment and using them to do the fishing.
So what we have done, in aquaculture, you're basically using the lake resource, and then you're putting in cages and then bringing, running a vertically integrated operation means that we're hatching the fingerlings and then bringing them into the lake. So what we have done is provided employment for people who were previously relying on fishing as their way of providing for their families. So Victory Farms has a setup in Homo Bay County right now that employs over 1,000 people who are learning new skills in aquaculture and working with the organization. And then, of course, in the other areas that we have expanded to, we also have employees in that area.
So tell me a little bit about how important aquaculture is to food security, not just for Kenya, but sort of for sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of water. We have a lot of bodies of water across the continent. I'm sure not many of them are being utilized the way you're doing it here. So the importance and the potential to expand into other countries.
Great question. Africa has a very vibrant population that, of course, is the fastest growing in the world. And therefore, there is a need to provide food for that population. Now, when we look at this as an opportunity to go and tap into what exists in the lake, what's happened, especially on the Kenyan side, is that the wild catch cannot keep up with the rise in population. So we have to be innovative and think of ways of sustainably introducing ways of creating food security. So that's where aquaculture comes in, because you're basically tapping into the resources in a sustainable way that ensures that you're not only providing for the existing population right now, but you're basically building something for future generations. So at Victory Farms, we're building skills. The company that has been built so far, we're about to clock our 10-year since there were boots on the ground, but the company is being built for future generations. That skill building that is being shared with the community ensures that people can either continue working for Victory Farms or eventually can branch out and go start out their own fish farming. Of course, with aquaculture, there's a lot of responsibility to make sure that you're doing it right and you're not abusing the resources, because they need to be there for the continuity of that business. So what we're doing is also working with Conservation Africa and other organizations that help ensure that we're doing things the right way.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, was depletion of resources. This is something that is happening across the continent as well, and also pollution of a lot of the water bodies around the continent. So how are you guys dealing with that?
First of all, the most interesting thing that is very soon coming is the fact that we're looking into our natural habitat to figure out novel ingredients that can be a part of what makes up our feed. And when you start looking within the ecosystem to introduce solutions, you're not influencing the ecosystem in a bad way. So our feed, in terms of how that is grown, we just launched a company in Naivasha relying on geothermal power for feed production. That is called Samagro. So working with them to use the novel ingredients that are available in Kenya, in Africa, ensures that we're not really introducing new things into the ecosystem that would therefore be harmful. In aquaculture as well, like I said earlier, there are processes that must be followed. If it's stocking a cage, making sure that you're not overstocking. The distance between one cage and the next. I'm a commercial person, so I won't go too deep into that. We have experts who are very good at that. But we're making sure that we're really respecting the resource to ensure that there is sustainability at the core of how we operate. Planting trees, creating carbon sinks for the area that we're in, just innovating around our operations to ensure that we're working in an ethical way.
Sarah, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you being here. Continue to inspire and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing more stories from other entrepreneurs. Very nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sarah.
Great.